Malta's story I have been investigating for months, and I'm guessing that you will probably be as shocked by it as I was. In the wake of a national opioid crisis, a growing number of people are dying from a common over-the-counter medication that you may have in your cabinet right now. And the stigma has kept a lot of families silent. But tonight, one brave mother is sharing her story, so what happened to her son doesn't happen to anyone else. Sitting on the beach playing Pink Floyd is where Ryan spent a lot of his time. He loved music. His favorite songs were the ones that he could relate to, like Wish You Were Here.
Then when my husband was diagnosed with cancer, things kind of changed.
Dana says Ryan was extremely close to his father. He had just graduated high school when his dad got a deadly diagnosis.
When his dad died, his addiction kicked in overdrive.
Ryan's mom says her son started out experimenting with prescription medication.
You know, teenagers goofing off, not thinking they would get addicted, and he happened to be one of the ones that did.
He would soon get hooked on meth. She found Hope hundreds of miles away here on the First Coast and watched as he boarded a plane and flew to Jacksonville to get clean out of drug rehab. But shortly after he came back home, he relapsed.
It was Easter weekend. We sent him back, gave him an ultimatum, either he moved out or he went to rehab. And he chose to go back.
She remembers the last words she said to him before he got back on the plane.
I said, "Don't die on me." "Oh, I promise, Mom, I promise."
It was a promise that weeks later would be shattered.
It's like my chest just felt like ice cold.
4 years after losing her husband to cancer, she lost her 24-year-old son to a drug overdose.
I called the hospital and I said, just tell me Ryan's going to be okay. And she goes, "No, ma'am, I can't."
Months later, toxicology tests revealed Ryan died of a loperamide overdose. It's an over-the-counter anti-diarrheal you may have in your medicine cabinet, better known as Imodium. Ryan, she said, had taken 1 to 200 pills.
Generally, it's sold to treat diarrhea, and however, if you take enough of it, it acts like any other opioid.
Dr. Robert Falsgraf, an associate medical examiner, first learned about loperamide abuse earlier this year after performing an autopsy on someone else in Jacksonville.
I didn't realize at the time when I first saw it that it was an opioid. In one of the articles, it basically called it the poor man's methadone.
Dana thinks her son learned about abusing Imodium from other patients in rehab because it doesn't show up on a routine urine test.
A lot of addicts use it to either, one, to wean off of opiates or just to chill. And Ryan was using it just to chill. From what I've been told, it was his first time.
At our request, the medical examiner's office in Jacksonville looked through its cases and found that loperamide has shown up on a dozen toxicology tests since 2015. Over the course of our 3-month investigation, First Coast News has talked to several families who have lost loved ones to Imodium overdoses, but most were hesitant to talk on camera.
Actually, there's probably more because they don't test for it. That's something that they have to know to test. I think Ryan was tested because he did die in rehab, so I think they went the extra mile.
And to anyone who is considering taking more than the recommended dose of Imodium, she hopes you'll remember Ryan's story.
They're looking at it, hey, it's a cheap, quick high, and I'm not gonna be caught. They just don't realize it's gonna kill them.
And 2 months after Ryan died, the FDA issued its first warning about the dangers of abusing Imodium. Another warning was issued earlier this year, the FDA saying in part it continues to receive reports of serious heart problems and deaths with much higher than the recommended doses of loperamide. We checked with the Florida Poison Control Center, and they tell us they've received 19 calls last year about loperamide overdoses statewide, and already this year, 15 calls.
We're seeing this most frequently in patients who are trying to get off of opioids and they're using it to deal with opioid withdrawal. And then in addition to that, a smaller percentage of people are using loperamide in an attempt to get high.
And so what is the danger of taking too much of this?
So patients who take too much loperamide are at an increased risk of having abnormal heart rhythms, and there have actually been several cases of people dying of fatal cardiac arrhythmias.
The FDA is now working with manufacturers to change the packaging and sell Imodium in blister packs to make it harder for people to consume massive amounts. The FDA says loperamide is a safe drug when used as directed.
It looks like they were playing.
You know what maybe we could do? Can y'all walk down like maybe a house, like just like to the next driveway, and then walk back this way like you're going for a walk?
Well, don't fall, 'cause that would be bad. Here. No? You say hi? You say hi? Okay. Here, hold my hand. Will you hold my hand? Let's walk. Come on. No? No holding hands, please? Okay, thank you. Come on. Hold my hand. You don't have to be silly. You can be regular. What else to do? I don't know what else to do. Doggy. Yes. Doggy.
Y'all can just like maybe walk up to that near the construction.
We're at the sand. We've made it to our beach view. Right? Yeah. Say our sand view.
And let me just get one. I'm gonna get one still picture of y'all just for our website.
Come on, go. Go get right here, Lola.
Okay, now y'all can just hang out and do whatever you're.
Whatever we were doing.
You can get down.
What's just happening?
Get down. Get down.
What do you think about your new home? You like it? Yeah.
Where do we live now, bud? Well, what state is it?
Come on. Let's go this way. Hey, can I have that card? Thank you. I hold it? You mean to hold it?
What are you doing?
I'm crashing.
Hey, where do you live now? Where do you
Where
live?
did we move to?
And Ryan.
Hey, where did we come from?
In Georgia.
Where are we now?
In Florida.
You're right.
Right.
We live here now,
Do you,
right?
do you live in St. Johns County?
No.
No?
Can you say St. Johns County?
You say St. Johns County. No,
Hey, Kel.
you're being shy.
Can you say St. Johns County?
Well,
No, I'm being shy.
Huh? You do know that.
That's where we live.
Can you say it? Can you turn around and say it real loud? Kel.
Red
Kellen.
That's okay.
children.
And we can just get a shot maybe of y'all just walking in
Oh,
and then
children.
just walking and then shut the door behind you.
Come on, bud. Go inside.
Where's that? We're just shooting some pictures. Just doing some pictures, bud.
can just look at me first if you can say and spell your name.
Okay, so I'm Jillian, Jillian, and this is Sean, Sean. Last name Constable, Constable.
And your names and ages of your kids.
Okay, so this is Finn. He is 21 months. And this is Kellen, who just turned 4 last week.
And how do you spell their names?
Finn, Finn, and Kellen, Kellan.
And if they're moving around, it's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's real life. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Real
you
mom
all
life.
just moved here. Tell me how you ended up, where you're living and how you ended up here.
So we're living in Shearwater off of 210, County Road 210, in St. Johns County, and we transferred here just for mostly through his job, and we wanted to be in Florida. My parents live nearby in Hammock Beach, so we sort of wanted to be closer to them, and we decided to take the opportunity, and then we kind of just narrowed in on St. John's through research. We looked at school systems and things like that, and we just saw that the schools were super highly rated here, which was really important with little ones. So.
And so you picked St. Johns County. You work in Jacksonville, right?
Right. Yeah.
So how did you pick of all the surrounding counties and Duval County? How did you pick St. Johns County?
It just seemed like the perfect location-wise because it was just far enough outside of the city, but still close enough where the commute isn't terrible. And then on top of that, it just has a much better school system and for raising a family and things like that. It's just better. Yeah.
You want to see me? You want to see me?
Oh, goodness. Is that your new girlfriend?
We'll interview your mom. Okay, so let's talk about the school district. How important were the schools when making your decision to pick St. Johns County?
That was probably our #1 decision maker. Our old, where we came from in Georgia, we had a great school system there. And Kellen was in 3-year-old pre-K there, and he did really well. So we wanted to continue that and have him in a good pre-K4 program where he could succeed. And I know Florida has VPK, which is such a great benefit to us. So we were excited to be in St. John's where they had good schools, but then specifically in Shearwater where Timberland Creek is right there, and it's such a great school. So.
And so you had when you were looking at where to buy, you could have bought current, old construction or new construction.
Right.
How'd you decide this is a brand new house, right?
Yes.
Why specifically new construction? Why Shearwater?
A huge part of it was just because we wanted it to be turnkey ready. We didn't want to move somewhere and then have to do a bunch of work. So moving into a new construction home was just sort of a no-brainer. Everything is brand new. All the appliances are new, especially with Lennar, which is who made our house, who built our house. So it was just sort of easy. It was you just turn the key, put your furniture in, and you're sort of done. And that was kind of what we were looking for.
As far as St. Johns County goes, talk about it being family friendly. What have you seen? You said you moved here in March, right?
Yeah, sort of. We actually just closed on the house last week, but yes, we've been in the area, and he's been working for 6 weeks. Yeah. So, I mean, just so far, I just think it's really nice to have, grocery stores and coffee and everything right down the road. So that's really convenient. But then also for us to be able to, go to the zoo in Jacksonville and do some other, I'm sure they have, just like they did in our old location where, they have festivals and things like that for the kids, and there's going to be activities to do in Jacksonville. I know that there's sports teams there, things that we would be interested in taking them to, but we're still just outside of it where we can be in sort of a smaller family-oriented place. So that, and then also healthcare. Healthcare was really important to us. Our younger one has some health issues, so we wanted to make sure we were near really great healthcare, and Jacksonville, of course, is like a hub for that. So it was sort of a no-brainer. Yeah.
And you said you moved here from the Atlanta area?
Yes, it was just north of Atlanta.
Just north of Atlanta. So when you're in this neighborhood, you have new construction all around you. What do you think of St. Johns County, just as a new resident? Because there's tons of people who are moving here. What do you think of it so far?
So far, we've just been really impressed. Everyone seems really nice. The weather is great. I mean, that never hurts to have sunshine, and to be able to have outdoor living is awesome. But we've been super impressed with everybody, everything. Other than the occasional traffic, it's been really great. Yeah, we both like our jobs, which is a bonus, and the kids have been super happy here, being able to go to the pool and the beach and playgrounds and have access to do outdoor activities. So far we're loving it.
So the story we're doing is on the growth in St. Johns County, and you and hundreds of other families are
Yes.
kind of just picking St. Johns County and
Yes.
moving here by the droves. Are you concerned at all about the school district as far as so many people
being able to
moving
keep
here?
up? Yeah, I mean, that was actually the county we moved from in Georgia was the same type of situation. It was like the fastest growing county in the state. And so, yeah, I mean, there's, I guess, a small part of you that's always kind of like, gee, I hope they can keep up. But it seems like St. John's in general kind of has their act together. I think, and like when we moved here, we sort of learned about this whole CDD fee thing, which is, you know, placed on homeowners to sort of keep up with the neighborhoods and keep up with the county and keep up with the community. So obviously, hopefully they have plans and infrastructure in place. But it seems like they do, and we're picking it for a reason. So great minds think alike. Obviously, us and lots of other people think that it's a great place to live. So hopefully they will be able to keep up with it, and we'll be really happy here. And I'm sure the boys will make lots of great friends. So.
And so, just one more time, kind of recap the top 3 reasons you picked St. Johns County.
I would say location in the state, like it was close to Jacksonville, but far enough outside of it where you're not feeling like you're right in the city. School system and like family friendly. And then probably number 3 would be like healthcare and access to the things that we were used to having. Like we were close to Children's Healthcare, and now we're close to Nemours, which is a really great place for children. We're close to the Mayo Clinic, which for us is great. So that sort of was our top 3, I would say.
And as far as long-term goes, do you plan on raising your family here? Is this your forever home? Talk about that.
Let's hope so. Yes. After moving, we bought and sold 2 houses in 6 weeks. So after that, I'm out for a little while. I would love to stay here for a while. I'm hoping this will be one of our forever homes, and at least this area. My parents live nearby, so they have a really close relationship with their grandparents. So we're hoping that this is sort of the long-term goal, to just be here and live here and be happy here. And I can see that happening. So.
And have you noticed, like, when you were looking for a house here, describe how many new neighborhoods you saw?
Like a ton. I feel like there was a ton of new construction, especially like specifically in the 210 area, and then also in that like World Golf Village area, there was a ton of new construction there also. And then a lot of like really great older houses that were for sale too, that, I mean, they were lovely. It was just, for us, didn't make sense. But yes, a lot of houses, a lot of new construction going up. So clearly there's going to be plenty of places for the people to move that are looking to come here. So
a lot of options.
Yeah, I would say probably we looked at easily like 30, maybe 40 homes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Awesome.
it was a lot.
Anything else you want to say about St. Johns County or living here?
You don't have anything to add?
I'll put a mic on you, but just before I get
You
to
added nothing.
I'm going to switch the mic on you.
No, I mean, not that I can think of. Just
You excited to raise your family?
yes, we're excited to be here. We're happy to be here. We think it was a really great decision for us. Obviously, the stress of moving is never fun for anyone, but once you get here and once you start feeling settled, it feels like we made the right decision. So I'm glad to be here, and I keep getting positive feedback from everybody else too when we say we moved to St. John's or we moved in Shearwater or off 210. They're like, oh, you're gonna love it. So that makes us feel super comfortable and confident. So.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to just switch the mic over to you.